Welcome to Coffee and Conversions. I'm Guy Yalif, CEO at Intellimise, and today we're talking with Ben Labay, Managing Director of Speero, which grew out of Conversion XL. We'll be having a cup of coffee and hearing more about creating high-converting websites, something Ben knows a lot about. Welcome, Ben.
Thanks, Guy. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to have coffee with you. So Speero birthed from Conversion XL. Our origin as a conversion rate optimization agency, and that's still the bread and butter of what we do. We do experimentation, we do customer experience optimization, and ultimately optimize decision making for the organization.
Let's dive in and talk about your clients and their websites. Why is a high converting website important to your clients' businesses as they're trying to drive leads, sometimes to a sales team, sometimes to self-serve sign up? Why is it important?
The cost of acquisition and the cost of processes and operations, right? So you could have a high converting website in a lot of different ways. So, if I give free beer away, I can get a lot of MQLs, right? Got to think about lead quality, not just getting trash and getting cheap conversions that churn, thinking about lifetime value, thinking about customer experience. The website not only has to be high converting, it has to be high converting for the right audience, considering the business strategy or the product strategy. So the product strategy is a trade-off. We're going to go after this customer. We're going to go after this part of the market, of the industry, as a trade-off compared to these other parts. So we need to have a high converting website relative to those parts and have a measurement system that reflects that product strategy. Because if you have something that just takes in everybody, irregardless of your product strategy, then you're pointing in like 5 different directions and you're not moving forward, right? Like that's to me at the heart of what it means to have a high converting website and a high converting website that means something for the business, right? That moves the business forward instead of forward and back and left and right.
Given all that context, how are you and your team or your customers' marketing teams ensuring that visitors do convert on your clients' websites today?
Yeah, so I think that the way that we tackle that, or the way that we try to tackle the conversion problem, is to understand those intent buckets. When you have a customer intent of I want to know, I want to do, I want to go, I want to buy, those are the 4 intent buckets, right? The website is usually an initial stop in the road to satisfy those intent buckets. On mobile, what are they there to do? On desktop, from this channel versus that channel, what are they? That's the first stop in the road. Customer research, especially with a lot of the attribution issues that's happening right now in the world. Again, who you're serving versus not serving, and then who you're serving, how are they buying? A lot of jobs to be done type of interviews. To walk me through your process for XYZ.
You triggered for me that this is a probabilistic game, that we don't know the right answer. If there was a rule, like I'll pick a silly one, every button should be red. You don't need all of this. To your point, those ingredients, that insight that then is activated through something cyclical so that it's not, one and done, because by its nature, it's iterative. You do something, you learn, you get another insight. Hopefully you then bring more creativity, try the next thing. That is so foundational to this because there aren't rules, because you need a bunch of at-bats, thoughtful at-bats, to then go find the thing that's going to go drive the business results you want. If you were to take a step back and give one piece of web conversion optimization advice to our community of conversion obsessed marketers, I know it's a hard question to ask because you do this all day, every day, but what would that be?
I think it would be to start testing. I mean, there's so many people out there that are not even testing. One piece of advice, if you are testing, I would say get closer to the customer before you test, or as you test, or alongside your testing. So employ voice of customer research methodologies, like more and more and more and more. Ramp up that dial.
Any other advice for our community of conversion obsessed marketers?
Yeah, just this week I got onto this interesting tangent of especially on complex sales, like shopping products, like if you're buying a couch or a medical device or B2B, software that's really expensive. If you take a desktop website where a lot of complex buying happens, right? Complex shopping product purchasing happens. you get rid of the scrolling down and you increase the throughput. You make each screen simpler with less choice, less cognitive load. You almost like turn your desktop into, your screen, your website into an app, into a mobile device. And so you're clicking through and going forward as opposed to scrolling down and having to read all of this content and messaging that doesn't give anybody anything. That's a big area that I'm really curious about to test more on.
Ben, I look forward to talking about it more down the road. Thank you so very much for chatting with me today. It was great to have you on this episode of Coffee and Conversions. Cheers.
Thanks, Guy. It's great. Cheers.